This is part 170 of ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss how to load images from the database using ASP.NET and C#. This is continuation to part 169. In part 169, we discussed how to upload images to the database. So here is what we want to achieve. At the moment, when we click on this link view uploaded image, we are redirected to webform2.aspx, and in the query string, we are passing the ID of the image that we have just uploaded. So what we want to do now is read the image ID from the query string and then load that respective image from the database using its ID and then display it on the web page. So let's see how to achieve this. The first step here is to create a stored procedure which is going to retrieve the image by its ID. So here we have a stored procedure, spGetImageById. It has one input parameter at ID, and look at the implementation. Select ImageData from TBL images where ID equals at ID. So for example, if we pass 1 as the ID parameter value, we will get the respective image data. So now we want to display this image on the web page. So within Visual Studio in webform2.aspx, let's go ahead and import some ADO.NET namespaces. So we need system.configuration, system.data, system.data.sql client. So let's copy those three namespaces here. And let's also copy the ADO.NET code here, because we still need to read the connection string. We need to create the command object and connection object, all that stuff. So instead of retyping that, I'm going to copy and paste it right here within the page load event. Alright, so we are reading the connection string from web.config file, creating the SQL connection object using that connection string, and we want to execute a stored procedure. And the name of the stored procedure is spGetImageById. So that's the stored procedure that we want to call. And it's a stored procedure, so we have to tell that to the command object. And this stored procedure has got a parameter. So SQL parameter, let's call it param_id equals new SQL parameter, and let's specify the parameter name. So parameter name equals at ID, and the value, where is the value going to come from? It's going to come from the URL. So request.queryString of the name of the query string parameter is ID. So that is the value for ID parameter, and we need to associate this parameter object with the command object. So command.parameters.add param_id, connection.open, and command. Now if you look at this stored procedure is actually returning a single value. So let's use execute scalar function to retrieve that single value returned by the stored procedure. And we know that we are going to get a byte array back. So I'm going to typecast the result to byte array and store that in a variable of type byte array. So byte array equals, let's call this bytes, equals whatever we get from the database. And finally close the connection. We don't have to explicitly close the connection, so I'm just going to leave that. Now what we want to do is, on our web form, let's go ahead and include an image element, and I'm going to set height equals 500 pixels, width equals 500 pixels, and within our code behind file, so the ID of that image element is image1 dot image URL equals. So at the moment, if you look at what we have the byte array of that image, right? So I'm going to specify the image URL as, so the data is going to be image/png semicolon, and we are going to actually convert this byte array into a base 64 string. So I'm going to create a variable here, and let's call that str base 64 equals convert dot to base 64 string, and to this function I'm going to pass this bytes array. So what is this function going to do? It's going to convert those bytes into a string, and here we are going to pass a base 64 string. To that, all we need to do is append that base 64 string. So image URL is this string. Okay, so this should display that image within that image element. So let's save all our changes, rebuild our solution, and let's go to our webform1.aspx. At the moment, I think in our database we have got 2 images. Let's go ahead and upload an image. When we click upload, it should upload the image successfully, and then it should display that link, view uploaded image, and when we click on this, we should be redirected to webform2.aspx, and look at that, we get the image that we have just uploaded. If you want another image, simply include the image ID in the URL. For example, I want the first image, so we get the first image, and the second image is jellyfish. So if we pass image ID as 2, we should see jellyfish. So pretty straightforward example. On this page here, you can see the HTML code and the server-side code. Thank you for listening and have a great day.